My entire adult life, my professional life, has been in law enforcement, from boots on the ground as a trooper to on the ground in policy making, where as a lawmaker, I've been involved from Title I all the way to Title 85 in statute law. My examples in public safety leadership is all the awards. I mean, I've received, I was nominated Trooper of the Year 3 times. The Chief's Award for my working against drunk drivers. Commissioner's Award for working the Murrah bombing. I've received a number of awards for drug interdiction, cracking down on drugs. I've been on the ground. In the Oklahoma House of Representatives, for 6 years, I've chaired or vice-chaired the Public Safety Committee, or vice-chair. For 6 years, I've also had oversight over county municipal government, either vice-chairman or a member of the committee, ranking member of the committee. Every 4 years, John asked for another term. When he first asked to win, he beat up poor J.D. Sharp, Sheriff Sharp, over the jail. God bless J.D. What would he be saying today? For 20 years, he said he's going to fix the jail. What do we have? We have an albatross, as I call it. But we have a beautiful city. We're on the world map. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder. The MAPS program has been great. We have a beautiful city. He's operating a tower of terror. That's what they're calling it. I believe I have the experience. We also know about there's an investigative audit by Auditor Jones. We don't know what's going to come of that. We know there's a possibility of pay to play. What about the victims? They may not be able to vote, but they're inside the jail. You know what? Somebody loves them. They're dying in the jail. They're getting hurt. One of my colleagues in the House of Representatives called and asked me if there was anything I could do when you had a disabled child, or like a child, inside the jail. He had a deformity. They made fun of him. He couldn't wipe himself because he had a deformity. Bring tears to your eyes. You know who's responsible? My opponent. He deflects. It's never his fault. It's never his fault. He always deflects. Give me another 4 years. Well, I can tell you this. I'm not him. That's what I have to offer. I'm not him. I'll bring you some leadership. Give me an opportunity. I'll show you. And if I can't get it done in 4 years, you throw me out of office. Because you're the boss. Throw me out. If I can't get anything done, I deserve to be thrown out.
My entire life, like I said earlier, have been in preparation. In my educational background, I have an associate degree in police science. I have a bachelor's degree in government sociology, and I have master's studies both at Oklahoma State University and University of Central Oklahoma in criminal justice. I have worked for several agencies with the Jones Police Department. I began with a 2-man agency, became 5. I served as chief of police in Jones before I was hired by Choctaw as administrative assistant to the chief and also a patrol officer. I served for 21 years as chief of police in Choctaw. Then I was elected sheriff of Oklahoma County and have had the high honor of serving as your sheriff. I provided leadership to organizations. I've also given back to my community and to my profession, serving on a number of local boards and also serving with a number of law enforcement organizations. I've been president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, an organization of over 25,000 police chiefs that serve in about 130 nations. I've been president of the Oklahoma Sheriff's Association, the Oklahoma Chiefs of Police Association, and the Oklahoma Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. I've also been serving in a number of committees, both with those organizations and with community organizations. And on a national level, I serve as chairman of the Traffic Safety Committee for the National Sheriff's Association and also serve with the Major County Sheriff's Association. I have been awarded a number of honors. I won't bore you with those, but one of the most recent ones has been with the Oklahoma County Triad program, where I was presented the Award of St. Michael. trying to keep and trying to maintain safety for our senior citizens. It is those honors, they mentioned the Officer of the Year for the Oklahoma Rifle Association twice, and being recognized by my peers. I have prepared myself academically. I have the experience. I have prepared myself by giving back to my community and to my profession. And those are just some of the reasons that I would ask the citizens to, again, on November the 8th, elect me sheriff. Well, the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office total budget this year is about $46 million. And of that, about 72% or $33 million goes to the jail. And of that, 70% of it goes to staff. Now, over the last 5 years, because of the lack of funding for corrections by the Oklahoma legislature, we have seen a reduction in the amount of income that we have received from the Department of Corrections. About 3 years ago, we lost between $3 and $3.5 million a year in operational costs when the Department of Corrections had to pull all DOC inmates, backed up inmates, out of county jails from all 77 counties. In addition to that, this past year, we lost our contract inmates because of space, and that cost another $2.3 million. Over the last 3 years, we have taken a staff reduction from 815 authorized positions down to 660. So a loss of about 150 employees. Some from the jail, some from patrol, some from courthouse security, some from every aspect and area of our agency. Our patrol division has fallen from 53 to 33. Our jail staff has fallen from 400 or 520 down to about 445. And in addition to that, a year ago, the Oklahoma legislature passed a law that cost shifted from the state of Oklahoma to county governments. So it was a 3-day rule that my opponent voted for. It has cost Oklahoma County, the Sheriff's Office, $274,000 last year. And the first month we got this year, it cost us $22,000 in July. So what we're seeing is a reduction in revenue, a tightening of the belt, and a reduction in cost. And we're seeing more general fund expenses being put toward the jail as we tighten and reduce costs in other areas like patrol, courthouse security, judicial services, investigations. The one area we're trying to hold harmless at this point in time is the staffing in the jail. They deal with a very heavy workload.
Thank you, Billy. That's a hard one to answer. See? Deflection. Blame the Oklahoma legislature. What he's not telling you, we take away 200 to 400 inmates, the DOC takes it because of the safety issues inside the jail. But now all of a sudden we have overcrowding again. That's what happens. Tell you what we do. We shut down the lawsuits for mismanagement. $18 million, deaths in the jail. How about open up your books? And I'm talking literal books. It's all paper. It's not automated. Reprioritize your resources. Does he really need 300 vehicles, plus vehicles? That costs maintenance. There's fraud, waste, and abuse. Again, we go back to paper. Why are we tracking everything in paper? Why don't we have some transparency? Get it automated. Why do we need horses? A team of horses. Who the hell does he think he is? Wyatt Earp? Don't blame the Oklahoma legislature. They've got problems. But don't ask for a subsidy from the state. I can tell you I can save that money. I've worked with corrections. Joe Albaugh does a great job. He jerked those inmates out of the county jail because they're going to die, and then the state's going to be on the hook. Don't listen to this nonsense. He's not frugal with his money. He's trying to deflect for 20 years of mismanagement. You guys are defense attorneys. You know. I would ask you to raise your hands if you think I'm telling the truth, but I'm not going to do that. It's time for a change. Don't let him spin this thing. He's responsible. The buck stops with him. Enough is enough. No more deaths. No more violation of constitutional rights. People in there being beat up, chained to whatever, getting worked over, mentally ill being put in the general population. He needs to take responsibility. It's time for a change. But don't let him blame the Oklahoma legislature. They've got problems up there. They sure do. But don't start blaming it because you don't get the subsidy and you want that money. And at the per diem rate, I think Judge Elliott said, you're throwing your per diem rate. It's like throwing it at a dartboard. It's deflection. Don't listen to it. Thank you.
Last in a timely manner.
Absolutely. I believe in transparency. Cameras are part of that. As chairman of public safety, before last myself, Bill City, VA Prater, law enforcement community, we had to tweak the Open Records Act over the body cameras. I think it protects not only the people out in the county, with law enforcement, but also protects the officers. But you've got to be careful, witnesses, people walking in the house with body cameras. I do agree that it's a great tool for everyone to have. It just brings more openness and transparency. What about the jail, though? What about these choke points in the jail where there's no cameras? Under the Christian administration, Sheriff Christian, one thing you're going to have a bunch of cameras in the jail. And if you have somebody die or you have somebody beat up, like what happened with Christian Costello, a victim of the sheriff, they won't release the tapes. That's what I'm saying. Another victim. I'm glad I brought that up because I wasn't bringing this up. But think about it. The Costello family, the tragedy. Kathy witnessed her husband murdered by her son. Total tragedy. But you know what? When he goes to jail, he lets him out. Lets the people out to beat him up. Now the Costello family, they become a victim of the government. What's his answer? Deflect. Don't let them see the video. I talked to several elected officials at the county level. Mistreatment. The man's created, he's caused a lot of pain in this county. And we're all suffering the consequences to his actions. As I told you earlier, it's either incompetence or corruption. Only he can tell us which one it is. But yes, I believe in total transparency. As a matter of fact, I would challenge. I see Nolan Clay back there. Nolan, are you listening? And all the media. I'm still a member of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. Everyone of the media, I'm not subject to open records, but if you'd like to look at my computer in my office right now, I will, if he'll let you look in his office computer. I'll give you my password. Sit down in his office, and if he lets you look in his computer, I'll let you look at mine right now. How about that? You guys like that? That's open and transparency. That's what I have to offer you. You like that, Nolan? Thank you.
We are in the process of looking at and actually studying body cameras. Right now we can't afford the body cameras. It's not the body cameras necessarily we can't afford, it's the storage. So we're looking at both issues of both purchasing body cameras and also the storage. We want to go a step further, though. We don't want it just for our patrol deputies. We would also love to have it for our officers in the jail. We will provide that video in accordance with statute without any problem. We do have patrol cameras. We get requests on a regular basis from the media for patrol video. We work with them to quickly get that video to the media. They just have to make a request, and we honor that request. As far as jail video, we obviously have some concerns about jail video that deals with officers' faces, also other non-related inmates. We do allow attorneys to come up and view the video, to look at the video. They can obtain it by subpoena, and that's our biggest concern there are the privacy issues of the inmates that are there and also of the other officers who would have their face exposed to those in the community, criminals in the community. But we do work with attorneys. We work with the media. We are transparent. There is no cost for the copies that are provided. And hopefully soon we'll be able to either acquire a grant or find a way to fund the purchase of cameras, both for our patrol deputies and also for those in our jail. And I might say we have over 350 cameras located throughout the jail. We have 2 people who monitor those jail cameras 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we have plenty of cameras inside the jail. Thank you.
What he said earlier, task force committees, 20 years. Guys, you can read a book, you can get on the internet, you can be taught how to manage. Apparently he missed that in Management 101. But you're born to lead. You either have it or you don't. At the end of his 20 years, he's saying, let's get into a task force. Let's get everybody together and figure out what's going on. I'll tell you what you do. How about fix it? Take responsibility. Again, Harry Truman, the buck stops with you. He's had 20 years, and he starts talking about task forces. This is what we're going to do. That's ridiculous. He's a member of the executive branch. Execute. Take responsibility for your actions. Treat people right. Closing, I'd like to say to my fellow law enforcement officers out there that I've worked with all the years, detention officers, help is on the way. You guys have contacted me directly and indirectly. The morale's low at Oklahoma County, the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office. Help is on the way. Oklahoma City Police Department, help is on the way. You have a choice, folks. Outside of the presidential election, it's kind of an important race. I'm sure you guys have read about and watched it on Fox News and CNN and MSNBC. But probably the most important vote you're going to cast this election cycle is for county sheriff. Who do you want to lead you in the 21st century? And remember this. People ask me all the time, who's running for your seat, Representative Christian? It's not my seat. It's the people's seat. It's not his seat. It's his identity. I'm the sheriff. No, it's your seat. It's your seat. You're the boss. If you can cast a vote in Oklahoma County, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, or the new Libertarian Party here, you're the boss. Don't deflect. Take responsibility for your actions. And if you don't like what I have to offer, folks, at the end of 4 years, throw me out of office because I deserve it. Thank you.
First, let me say thanks to my wife, Mitzi, for being here. I appreciate her support. She goes with me everywhere I go. We have become a team, and I appreciate that. Next, I want to say thanks to the citizens who showed up here today to listen to this forum and exchange of ideas. I also want to say thanks to the Sheriff's Office, to the staff of the Sheriff's Office, those who are here and those who couldn't be here because they're working today. They're doing work on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma County, protecting our citizens. You know, the dedication of duty is what our employees is all about. They are dedicated. They don't get paid the big bucks, but they do their job anyway, and they do it well. And for our employees, there can't be any better. They do their job well. You know, my job in law enforcement is about saving lives. The office I hold belongs to our citizens, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that for the last 5 terms, the citizens have elected me to represent them in the office of sheriff, the only elected law enforcement position in Oklahoma County. And I ask the citizens again for their vote on November the 8th. It's working to keep lives safe from harm. It's working to save lives, to keep lives from being hurt. In the rural parts of Oklahoma County, in the Deer Creek area, it's a 40-square-mile area. They had 1 school when I took office 20 years ago. Today they have 8, and they're building 2 more. It's an area that's exploding, just like the areas in the eastern part of the county. I will promise the citizens of Oklahoma County I will maintain a patrol division. I will maintain your safety. Over the last 20 years, we've reduced traffic crashes by over 90% in those 150 square miles. We've reduced crime by over 90% in those 150 square miles. I trust our citizens, I believe our citizens, and I will protect our citizens. I thought it was interesting today that my opponent could do nothing but attack. He even attacked reserve deputies who own horses, their own horses. They volunteer their time. They volunteer their horses to serve the citizens of Oklahoma County. They work the state fair. They work the stockyards. But my opponent doesn't care about that. He just attacked men and women who have gone through a training program and serve our citizens for free. Again, thank you for being here today. I ask for your vote and your support on November the 8th.